Are you hungry for the latest news and trends from the internet? Welcome to What's Cooking on the Internet, your one-stop shop for discovering the hottest digital delights. Hit that subscribe button and let's get cooking.
Can the church find common ground with Gen Z through humor and memes? Let's dive in and see what you think in the comments. In a world where social media rules our lives, the Catholic Church is facing a new challenge: how to connect with the youngest generation of Catholics, Gen Z. For centuries, the Church has been shrouded in secrecy, but this year's papal conclave has taken a dramatic turn. Instead of being a hush-hush event, the conclave has become a viral sensation on TikTok, with memes and jokes about the cardinals' robes and the papal contenders' theological and political leanings. Behind the scenes, centuries of secrecy have cloaked the process of choosing the next leader of the Catholic Church. But not this year. Gen Z, the first generation made up entirely of digital natives, are taking the papal conclave into the algorithm age. They're turning the process of electing a successor to the late Pope Francis into something that feels less like a sacred ritual and more like a coronation of sorts. The contestants? Elderly men in red robes. The crown? Spiritual authority over nearly 1.4 billion Catholics. On TikTok, American comedian Rob Anderson's clip dubbed the conclave the Pope Games, describing it as a Sistine Chapel sleepover where cardinals cast their vote for the next pontiff. He then ranked the papabili, or potential popes, using gay terminology to explain where each cardinal stands on church doctrine. Mr. Anderson's irreverent take has gone viral, racking up over 5 million views and pulling centuries-old Catholic discourse straight into Gen Z's feed. Among the breakout stars is Filipino Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, 67, often dubbed the Asian Francis for his warmth and progressive views. On TikTok, Cardinal Tagle has become meme gold. One viral edit shows him joking that he only knows 3 Polish words: kielbasa sausage, pierniczki gingerbread, and vodka. But while blending centuries-old rituals with cheeky online humor is seen by some as creative commentary, others, particularly within Catholic circles, are raising ethical questions about making light of revered traditions. Experts say the phenomenon reflects Gen Z's instinct to remix serious world events into shared online moments, often blurring the line between respect and satire. To traditionalists, the conclave's memification may seem irreverent and disrespectful. But for many Gen Z Catholics and even curious outsiders, the online buzz has become a gateway into real conversations about the future of the Church. What started as jokes about the cardinals' robes turned into genuine discourse on the theological and political leanings of papal contenders, and what that would mean to Catholics in the modern age. For young people like 22-year-old journalism student Era Chong, the memes have made the Church feel relevant again. I became interested after seeing posts describing Pope Francis as the diva of the Church, and that we need another diva like him. The tea made me curious and got me researching the Pope's role in society, and why the conclave matters so much. Ms. Chong said. It's an experience shared by some non-Catholics, like Ms. Alex Culla, 23. Watching all the conclave meme videos pushed her to research more about where each papal contender stood on issues she cared about. There's like a celebrity culture now surrounding the Pope Ables, and that made me so invested in the conclave, said Ms. Culla. Memes as digital evangelization, Assistant Professor Fitz Turalba, a sociologist who studies religion and pop culture, says humor helps Gen Z process complex issues. Making jokes is a release of tension. It's not an attack on the sacred or the elimination of the sanctity of the Church. Rather, it's a way of participating in these conversations. Filipino Jesuit priest J-Boy Gonzalez, 57, sees the memes as a form of digital evangelization. Sometimes, a meme or even TikTok videos can be great social commentaries about certain aspects of an event. This could lead to further reflection, evaluation, and hopefully, action, Father Gonzalez said. Social media can also be used to spotlight the Church's good works in helping migrants, the poor, and the marginalized, he said. Memes can be opportunities for re-engagement, building bridges, promoting listening and dialogue, he noted. But he warned that memes cross a line when they mock believers or distort facts. Social media also poses risks of disinformation, with some users spreading edited videos to question the papal contenders' qualifications. This aspect worries church leaders like Filipino parish priest Eris Sison, 63, who is also spokesperson for the Diocese of Cubao in Quezon City. He felt sad when told that there were viral videos of Pope Francis's possible successor even during the 9-day mourning period for the late pontiff. The conclave is the sacred process of choosing the next successor of St. Peter. It's not just a president. It's not just a mayor. It's not just a world leader. The Pope is the vicar of Christ, Father Sisson said. I can't help but say to these social media users, have a little respect. Even Filipino papal contender Cardinal Pablo Virgilio David, 66, warned against turning sacred rituals into public spectacles. In a Facebook post on April 25, he reminded the faithful not to reduce the conclave to entertainment and cautioned against using social media to campaign for their favorites. Creating or sharing campaign videos, even with good intentions, risks turning a sacred discernment into a worldly spectacle. It may inadvertently pressure or politicize the conscience of the electors and distract from the silence and prayer needed to truly hear the voice of the Spirit, he wrote. TikTok clips as the church's new stained glass art. Religion reporter Paterno Esmacal II of Manila-based news site Rappler sees the dynamic between faith and the digital medium as a continuation of a long tradition. He said the church has long used art, from stained glass windows in churches to famous paintings depicting biblical scenes, to bring its message to believers. Now, it's mediated by technology like TikTok, but the same dynamics are at play, said Mr. Esmacal. Religion has long expressed itself through art and symbols, and that's what we see now in TikTok and all these memes. And people are playing it up through the language of the new generation. The church must make space for humor, and as Pope Francis has always told us, needs to meet people where they are, he added. No doubt the debate over the use of humor with regard to religious matters will continue long after the black smoke turns white at the Vatican. But it is clear that Gen Z has found a way to engage with the church, in a way they want to be heard. In the words of Pope Francis himself, there is faith in humor.